Welcome back to the One Predator podcast. Good evening, everyone.
Yeah, welcome back.
Yep, welcome back. It is super cold and windy out tonight, so I don't think snowing. Probably not going to do any hunting.
No, unfortunately.
It's going to be a slow night for us.
Yep.
It says it's 31 out, but that wind sounds like 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
Oh, gusting at 30. Yeah, straight out of the south.
Yep, no.
So
be an indoor night.
Yeah, we're going to stay home. We don't love shooting them that much.
No.
Well, they don't feel like they don't come out.
We've never had any luck in the wind.
Never.
Even,
Not even a fox or a bobcat? Or nothing.
Which at this point is out of season now.
It is over?
Yeah, I think it's usually like the 15th. So like today would have been it.
Oh. It's so sad.
It is.
When the season ends.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. The 15th.
Yep.
It is officially
coyotes
only in
Coyotes only in New York State until
March.
End of March.
So don't mess up, boys.
Keep it legal. Keep it legal.
Yeah. Make sure you understand the eyes.
Yes.
When they're close together, it's probably not a coyote. More likely it's a fox or a cat.
Yeah.
But fox will bounce in. They're they're happy.
Yeah, we've talked about the movement and how to identify them before.
Coyotes cross. If you get two coyotes, they do the zigzag.
Yeah.
And then a bobcat straight in.
You're right. Because when we're hunting together, which is typically when I hunt, you're hunting.
Yes.
We're set up left, right. And it's an unspoken rule that the guy on the left goes for the left one, the guy on the right goes for the right one if we call it a double. And even if they cross...
Unless the guy on the right says he can't see it, then it's free game. As soon as I hear I can't or it's not, it's dead.
Yeah, well, if there's more than two of us.
Right.
But if there are two of us, the guy on the left gets the left one, guy on the right gets the right one. Even if they cross, you always watch the one on your side, no matter what. You don't
ever make that mistake.
You don't follow the one that you're watching first. It's always the one on your side.
Sometimes it's hard to do, though.
It is.
Because you're just looking through your scope.
Right.
Well,
I mean, if they're crossing each other, you're watching the one. If they cross, you're going to see them cross.
Yeah, for like a millisecond.
Yeah.
In the heat of battle.
Well, like that double we had out here that one night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I was on the left. You were in the middle calling.
Yeah.
Rusty was on the right-hand side.
Everybody watched your dog. I was watching your dog.
Well, you were watching the one I was going after, and Rusty was watching the one on the right. And
he never shot, I don't think.
No, he did. But he shot over it. Because the one that I shot, she was, 40 yards when she checked up?
Okay, we have that on recording on the Wraith.
We do. That was Wraith. Yes, with the Wraith. And
smoked her.
Yep. Done. One shot.
Well, she was going to eat the caller.
Yeah.
Caller was on the left. Wind was blowing left to right. And she came right out of the meadow. That was her and... Gimpy.
Yep.
Gimpy, oh, man.
That was a tough dog to get. Your brother finally got him, right?
Yeah, early in the morning. Walked out of his house. He lives right next door to where I'm at now, where we hunt. And the dog's out in the field.
Yep.
And I was here. I was in bed still, and I hear it.
Yeah.
I hear 243 go off, and I'm like, "That son of a." So I call him, and I'm like, "What are you shooting at over there?" He's probably, I'd say he's a quarter mile from me through the woods.
Yeah, probably.
And he's like, "I just smoked a coyote," and I'm like, "All right, we'll bring it over. I want to see it."
Mm-hmm.
So he comes over. So Josh, we called a double that night.
We called a double.
The female, you shot.
She was on the left.
Yep.
I shot her. Rusty was on the far right. He was watching Gimpy. Shoots over him.
That dog was limping all the way out.
He was. You could see him. One of his paws was bad.
Yeah, front one.
Yep. And he's limping in. The thing is, though, with that one, is we sat here in your kitchen where we are right now and talked about how anything like less than 200 yards, you just aim true.
Yes.
You don't compensate. You don't try and shoot high. Just
Yeah,
aim
200
true.
and under. Yeah.
Just aim true, and you're going to hit your target.
Yeah, don't mess up like I did last weekend.
And what's he do?
Yeah.
He shoots over it. It's like, wow, I thought it was further than it was.
Well, it's your depth perception.
I know, depth perception in the dark, looking through an IR or even a thermal
And
scope.
here's the thing. Like now, I missed that one. I made one angry. It took me a couple hours to get him to cross hedgerows.
Oh, right, yes.
I
You
made
told me
him.
about
I
this.
just, yeah. I
Called
made him.
me at work at 3:30 in the
Yeah.
morning.
Yeah, I called Josh at work, and he's like, "Why are you up right now?" And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Dude, you're not gonna believe what just happened to me." And I had gone out. It was the Super Bowl, and I don't call me un-American, but I don't watch sports.
Nah, neither do I. So
No baseball, football, none of that.
I'm a hunter.
Yeah, and my dad never did. We always were riding quads and building stuff, and
Outside, no TV.
so the wife watches football because her dad was big into it. So her and one of her friends were here, and they're drinking wine, watching Taylor Swift, which is everybody's on an uproar about. Which is whatever.
Don't get me started.
Right. That girl sold tickets for them.
Oh, yeah.
So it's fine.
Absolutely.
You know.
Anyway.
But anyway, so I was like, well, so she made a bunch of food, and I ate, and I was like, well, I'm going hunting.
Yeah.
So I went solo. Sometimes you got to go by yourself. I don't know. You don't.
No, I really don't have the opportunity to.
Right.
Like, I work third shift, so I work from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. Wednesday through Saturday. So my days off are Thursday and Friday. That's when typically we hunt.
Right.
Like,
And you have kids
and I have kids
and a wife
and a wife. Yeah.
and a couple dogs.
Yes. So, like, I want to be with them as much as possible.
Right.
So, on hunting days, you can't go out until after at least 10 o'clock.
Yeah,
on my
because
days
my
off.
wife works nights.
Your
Kid-
wife works evenings
And
on
I-
Thursdays and Fridays.
Right, and I have to stay here with the kids.
Yeah. So, I don't, it's fine though. I don't,
I like to go out alone.
yeah.
Sometimes,
Not that I haven't done it before.
no, and sometimes, I take everybody, and like sometimes I just like to go and say I'm going to try something new.
Right. And you want to be by yourself, try
Right.
something different, see how it works out for you.
Right. Different angle, a different call, a different sequence, a different position in the field. You
Yep.
know, we try not to stand in the same place every single time. So I went out alone. So I go to the first spot. I had to go to a farm. They were losing some ducks back over to Vern. So I get over there and I call. And it's windy like this. And it's the wrong way.
Mhm.
And so I tried. I was there 35 minutes. And I'm like, well, pack it in. So I go get the call. And I hear howls and stuff going on.
Of course. Because everything's packed up. You're ready to go.
Well, no, so I'm listening to these howls, and I'm like, hell, man, that's a caller. It was an e-caller doing a serenade, and it was probably a mile and a half away, but that night, now we're talking late. I left here, I don't know, 10:30, 11 o'clock. There was everybody was home watching the stupid game, so there was nothing.
Right. It was quiet.
It was quiet. You could hear everything.
Yeah.
I could hear trains up north,
Yeah.
like coming from Niverville side. And so I hear this e-caller, and I'm like, let's go for a ride. So I kept cruising down to one of my other spots at another farm, and there's two farms there. The first one I pass, I can't hunt no more. That was taken from us.
Yeah.
Which I really don't miss it.
No, I mean,
It's not worth the aggravation sometimes. Anyway, so I see two pickups in the field.
yeah.
And so I go down the road to our spot, pull in there, and I pull my thermal out, and I'm scanning the field looking for them.
Yeah.
See if they're calling something, like
Right.
from our side.
Yeah.
Because I was like, man, I'll pull in here, there'll be dogs in our field that they're calling, and I'm going to pop them
Right. You can just steal them.
and throw them in the truck and leave. So I get out, and I see them, and they're calling, and it was them. And I don't know who it was. And that's great. They're hunting. They're on their
they're-
lease or property or whatever you want to call it.
Their permission.
Right. Go for it, guys. But I was going to capitalize on their where they were.
On their effort.
So I'm sitting there and I'm watching, and I look up on the hill, up on the other road, and I see two little heat dots up there, and they're moving very erratic.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, that's either coyotes or a fox.
Yeah, definitely not deer.
Definitely not deer. So I get on them. Two coyotes. They're mousing. So I go into some distress. Mouse. I did. Oh, excuse me. Oh. Long day. And I did a mouse and I did a rabbit. And they'd look up, but they weren't interested. And I ranged them. They were at 560 something.
Oof. That's pretty far.
Uphill.
Uphill.
And there's houses.
And a road.
And a road, so you
Yeah.
can't really shoot. I thought about shooting.
Yeah.
I was doing the ballistics on my phone. I'm like, I can't shoot up there. What if I hit one? You know, it's just not safe.
Yeah, it's just...
It's just not safe. So I tried, and I couldn't get them to come down. Those guys leave. They get in their trucks and leave. And I'm like, these two dogs start heading south along this road. Well, we hunt that whole road.
Yep.
We have permission for that whole road. So I was like, okay, in the truck we go. So I get up and I head them off. And I end up at one of our other spots. And I got there and I didn't put the call out far because I was afraid of bumping them
Yep.
out of the field. And I finally get them to light up and made them angry. Anyways, I shot over them. And
The whole death perception in the dark.
yeah, what happened was for some way I turned my rangefinder off of my scanner because I leave it on scan. So whatever I hit, it tells me when I'm how far. But that thing's my crutch now. That's a problem. So at some point, when I finally now I worked this coyote. Like I tried a couple of different distress. I did a distress first. I did a jackrabbit. And two dogs next door. Well, two across the street and one next door howl. So I'm watching the one coming. He starts heading up towards me, and I'm like, okay, well, there was four
You were
dogs.
just surrounded.
Or five dogs. I
Yeah.
was surrounded.
Which we have been many times on
Right.
that road.
Right. So I was surrounded, and my heart was pumping. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh, man, I'm all alone. What if I get them from both fields? What if they start... Now I'm going to be like, shoot this way, shoot that way, shoot this way. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So the dog's coming, it disappears. I don't know if he winded me or what happened. So I kept working him. Well, the one next door to me, when he lit up, when he started howling, I about peed my pants. That hedgerow was 80 yards from me. Mm-hmm. And he was right there.
It's not a wide field.
No, it's an L shape, but it opens up on the bottom. And he was right there.
Yep.
And he started howling, and I was like, okay, all right, he's here. So they're here. I can't see him through the brush with the thermal. I get glimpses, little flashes, like they're moving around that hillside. And long story short, I can go on about this I did this for an hour and a half.
Really?
With him, back and forth.
Oh, so you didn't...
Try different howls, this and that. I'd get him to respond. He'd come to the edge of the hedgerow, wouldn't cross it. And I'm like, man, I have got... And then they'd run back away from me, and I could see them up on the knoll. Mm-hmm. There's two of them standing there, and they're just mousing around. So I'm like, man, let's try and make him mad.
Yeah.
So
get a little aggressive. With
right.
him.
Yeah. I did a couple of barks, regular barks, and then I did a male challenge, and then I did a group challenge, and that thing came through that hedgerow like Apollo 13, man. It was barking the whole time. So
Really?
it was dead silent. I recorded it on my scope. It was dead silent, and all of a sudden, he sounded like a pissed off pit bull, and he's barking, rah, 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 rah. And my gun's pointing towards to the right where the other dog was crossing that brush field.
Yeah.
I'm looking left with the thermal.
Yeah.
So I'm looking, and this thing he comes through the brush line ready to kill somebody. My call is 30 yards in front of me.
Oh, jeez.
So he saw me.
Yep.
That's what happened. So he runs into me. I see him in the thermal. I go to the gun, flip the gun around, go to the gun. He's gone. I can't find him. I'm looking around. I'm like, where the hell did he go?
Oh, jeez.
So I come off the gun and I look, and he's in front of me. He had come towards me and then circled around. He must have seen me. He must have seen me. So I get on him, and I go to range him. My rangefinder's off. Well, he's already spooked. He's not going to stay. I get him to stop, and I pick the scanner up. I got no range. I drop it in my chest pack, and I'm like, we're just gonna do this.
Just go for it.
Right. So I look, and I literally put my crosshair, my horizontal line, right at the top of his fur on his back. And I mean, it like buried it in his backbone. And I shot, and you could watch the dirt fly behind him. I shot right over top of him.
Yep.
And then he ran down the field, and he was quartered away, and he turned around. I woofed at him. He turned around, he looked at me, and I put it on the top of his head. Because, again, my rangefinder still, I hadn't clicked it back on. And pulled again, and I missed him again. But I angered him out of the woods. I've never been... He was going to run me over. He was mad.
Yeah.
See, like... Even now, like, I never really did that challenge hound stuff. Like, Rusty always said that, you know, if there's a female around or if they don't want to fight, you'll chase them off.
Yeah.
So, we never did it. I don't want to tell my friend he's wrong, but, you know, we went out, me and Rusty went out last week.
Yeah.
Had the same instance. On Maquette, on up on one of his spots. Almost said the name, can't do that. And I get this dog to cross. It's in another field over, and we never saw it, but it was quiet. We did some distress. I did a couple long howls. I did some female stuff, some whimpers, a little bit of like a breeding fight. And this dog, male, lights up.
Yeah.
Angry. And Rusty's like, I can't see him. And I'm like, yeah, I can't see him either. You know, so I start challenging. I worked that dog over there for 30, 40 minutes.
Yep. We've definitely done that with a few of them where you know they're coming, but...
Like an hour and 40-minute stands. You know, I mean, that's super long.
When you know they're coming and they're getting closer,
I couldn't pull that dog for Rusty for nothing.
Got to keep trying different things to get him to break that line.
And you know what kills me? This stuff. Me and you talked about this at night, 3 o'clock in the morning. This crazy stuff that happens with me, I'm always by myself.
Yeah, we've had some...
No,
pretty
I
get it. But we've had some pretty wild nights.
Right.
Pretty wild stands.
You never had a coyote come through a brush line like a chihuahua and eat your face. I lost him. It's like, where the hell did he go?
Yeah.
And then, everybody's going to love this. So I shoot the second time.
Yep. Oh, right. Yes.
Right.
Yep.
And then...
the property owner.
The property owner ends up on his back deck because he's got a couple of cows, and the whole world lit up. I don't know where he got that spotlight, but that goddamn thing worked good. And here I am, like a Sasquatch out in the middle of his cornfield, and I could tell it was him. He's older. He's got the shakes, so the spotlight's shaking, you know. And I'm not making fun of him, but you know, it's shaking, and I'm like, damn it, Fred. What are you doing? So I turn around, and I wave, and
Yeah.
then I put my hands up. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if he's, you know.
Right. You don't know if he's armed or
Right.
what he's
like,
trying to do.
Man, don't shoot me in your backyard, bro. Like, put my hands up. So I was like, well, I'll hang out in case the cops show up. Because I have nothing to hide.
Right.
I asked him every year for permission. It's never a problem.
Yeah. Just caught him off guard one
Right.
night. You know.
Right. And he's an old dairy farmer. It was 3 a.m.
Yeah.
He was up.
Right.
And so I called him next day and I said, Fred, I was like, listen, man, I'm sorry. I was like, if you don't want me there no more, just tell me.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, no. He's like, after I did, I felt stupid. And I said, well, it's fine. But in
Yeah.
my mind, I'm like, yeah, it was kind of stupid. But
Yeah.
so I shoot that second time and
Yeah.
I look over in the field where he came from. There's 2 more over there.
Oh no.
Standing on that knoll, and I'm like, and he's lighting me up with a million
yeah.
candles, and I'm like, well, shit, this is over,
Yo.
you know. So, but I called him and we squared it off, and he's just a nice old. He just screwed up, you know. But I was like, man, I'm gonna get the cops called on me. So I go back to my truck, and I was waiting. I was like, I'll wait.
Yeah. I mean, nothing to
Unloaded
hide.
my stuff, put
you
my
know.
gun in the case in the truck.
Right,
and I
you're
was like,
legal. Nothing to hide.
right. I was like, let's get it on, you know, because that's, you know, that's happened. That's the 3rd time this year for me. The other 2 times were state troopers up to Valacia there.
Yeah. The one night I was with you,
Yep.
and we're calling that field, and we had. We'll get into what the episode is about, which is calls.
Right.
Here in a few minutes, we're sharing stories about calling. Well, I mean that's
They
what we
cross
always
the
do.
road.
But we were calling, and we had 2 coming from across the road, and we're watching them, and just as they get to the other side of the road, there's a
as they
car
got
coming. I was like, "Oh, you've got to be kidding me!"
Yep.
So we're standing there, and this car comes up. And I look over to my left, and you can see brake lights, and this car stops
Right at the pickup.
right at the truck that's parked on the side of the road. And I'm like, what the? And all of a sudden, this car backs up. and
Spotlight.
State trooper spotlight right out into the field. It's like, you've got to be kidding me. I get on
There's
the,
stickers all over my truck.
right.
man.
I get on the comms like, oh, hey, your troopers are over there. He goes, oh, you're good. Don't worry about it. Just keep doing what you're doing. I'm like,
Yeah, 'cause
okay.
we have permission.
Right. We have permission to be there. We're not, we're doing everything by the book.
Then they light us up.
But then they light us up. Then they pull forward. They're looking at the truck.
Yeah.
They back up. They light us up again.
Again.
And I don't know how they didn't see us. I mean, it's not like we were
I
hiding.
put my hands up. I gave them the what the hell. I was
Right?
like, what are you guys doing, man?
We're not hiding in the brush. I mean, we're on the edge of the tree line.
They were out looking for desperados because it was
But-
late.
And they pull up again. They're looking at the truck, and then they go away. And these coyotes, they're gone at this
Yeah.
point. I mean,
We had them too.
right. They were
I
dead
told
run,
Josh before we got
heading
there.
across the road.
I think that's the first time you went to that spot with
Yes,
me.
it was.
I was like, dude, they're gonna come from across the street.
Yep.
Because there's a field with a main road on one end and a side road on the other, and housing development and an orchard. It's like a coyote buck. There's big bucks there.
Yeah, it's a haven.
Paradise. It's a haven. There's like a
Wild game haven.
There's like a 5-acre wood trees and a little pond in there, and it's like I don't know. It's like the Forgotten Valley or something. These dogs come ripping over. Trooper slams up, looks at my truck, spotlighting it. I'm throwing my hands in the air, and you know what's funny is Rusty heard about that because they called him.
They called.
Well,
Why would
it's
they?
his buddy.
Oh,
He
really?
knows them guys. Well, he's a fireman. so he
Well,
knows them.
right.
So they called him and we're like, hey, are you, and Rusty's like, no, that's my buddy, Carl, and he goes, oh, well, tell him I'm sorry.
See, I didn't hear this part of the
yeah.
story.
Yeah. Because they see me throw my hands in the air.
Yeah.
I was like,
Like,
what the hell are you guys doing?
What? Come on,
Like, we're not robbing a bank.
Like,
We're in the
you
middle of
have-
a hayfield.
or was that 8 or 10 inch one Predator sticker on your window?
Yeah.
Like
That's
it's
not enough.
It's
We need
not
more.
small.
We need a whole coyote wrap down the side of the truck.
Down the side of the truck.
I'm going to make one that says, we are predator hunting.
Right. And this is, we
We
have
have
permission
permission
to be here. This is my phone number.
Right. Or wait, but do not turn your spotlights on, guys.
Please don't spotlight us.
It was like a prison break in that field
Oh,
that
yeah.
night.
It was bright.
Oh, I was mad as hell. And that was a double, too.
It was two. There was definitely two coming. They were charging in hard.
I was like, here they come, Josh. Here they
yeah.
come. Here they come. And then beep, beep. And I'm like, you. I'm like, all the stuff you guys can be doing.
Yeah.
Well, the truck, the way it was parked, I guess it looked. But it wasn't stuffed into a tree. It was just along the side of the road.
Yeah, I mean, it was sitting a little
And
bit.
if you lit it up and saw the coyote stickers on it, don't you think that...
Right. Yep.
What it was is it wasn't Rusty's truck.
Yeah, but
They didn't know who it was. They know now.
I'm sure. Yeah.
So after Rusty told me that, I said, you mind telling him? I went up there one night. I think I took Rusty with me. I said, you want to call your boy and tell him,
yeah.
just let him know that we're parking along the road and to not light it up like the movie Prison Break, for Christ's sake. Friggin' outlaw coyote hunters.
Yeah, that's what we are, apparently.
Okay, let's talk about calls. This has
Calls.
gone way off.
Hey, it's stories. I think
That was a lucky duck.
I think they're interesting.
Yeah?
Yeah, you were calling that night.
Yep.
Lucky duck.
I love my Rick call. Rick is my man.
Yeah.
He just, anytime. I had problems with the first one, he sent me a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. What is that thing? It was a $700 call
Something like that.
for the
yeah.
Revolt.
Yep.
I called him. I said, I don't know, man. It's like stopping midstream. Like it's losing connection. And he gave me some things to try. Didn't work. And he's like, you know what? I'll just have the wife send you a new one. And like a day later, it was
Yeah.
like overnight. It was here.
Yeah.
You can't beat that. That's customer service.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Because most of us that do this don't have a ton of money. There's guys out there that got some serious rigs.
Yeah.
Like $13,000 thermals.
Well, yeah. We were talking about this before recording last week, and I had all my stuff packed up in my car on my way down here, and I was thinking about what I had in my vehicle at that time as far as a monetary amount for the equipment that I was carrying.
Yeah.
And it was ridiculous.
Yeah,
It's disgusting.
don't ever think about it.
No, well, you can't. You can't. Because it was like, oh, my God, really that much?
Yeah. And and we're on the cheaper end of this, really.
Yeah. But I was including a thermal, pistol,
Right.
chest, all the bags, the guns, the calls, the scopes, the calls. I mean, everything.
Now you got a chassis coming.
Now I have a chassis coming.
You're going to be a baller.
It'll
one of
be
those
here
baller
on
gun
Saturday.
guys.
I can't wait.
Got
As long
one
as
of
I
the
can get
fancies.
as long as I can get a couple mags for it.
What are they, AR-10 mags? Is that what it
No,
is?
they're AICS mags.
It's a what?
Yes, exactly.
What is that?
It's a different style mag. It's not an AR mag, and it's not.
Did you order some from Tony? Is that why you were asking him?
Well, I texted him the other day to see if he carries them. He's like, they're on their way. Like, okay. So that's why I asked him tonight when you called him.
Yeah,
He's
what
like,
did he say? I don't know. I wasn't listening.
It was hard to hear him. He's like, I don't know if they've come in yet. I got to check. So maybe I'll stop up there tomorrow and see what he's got. And
Well, if not, you better get on it because you're going to be.
yeah, because
I don't think we got to recite that thing.
shouldn't have to. I'm not going to pull the scope off the barrel. That should all just be sighted in and everything. It's just
the
taking
two
the
screws. It's the
two
four.
screw.
You got two on the trigger guard, one halfway up.
I don't know. I'll have to. I haven't looked into how to swap it yet because I don't. Well, I mean, I don't have it, and I wasn't sure when it was coming. But
I think you got, unless you got a molded trigger guard, you should have two on the trigger guard and one halfway up on the stock underneath. That's it. That's all that holds
it's
that
just
in there.
2-3 bolts, and the thing comes out.
Right.
Slap it into the chassis and torque it up, and you're good to go.
But it's probably going to be. Is it heavier?
It's The chassis itself is 4.2 pounds.
What kind of chassis is it again?
MDT.
MDT.
It's
I looked at them.
The Oryx. Yes. I'm excited. I'm ready.
So now you're a flashy gun. You got a flashy gun.
Flashy gun. Okay.
Well, it is. It makes it look
What?
pretty. You know.
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited about it.
I gotta get something on my AR because I gotta get back to my roots. This bolt gun stuff all year.
Hey,
Last weekend,
that bolt gun's accurate though.
I know
You can't
I
argue
shot
with
a
that.
lot of stuff with it, but let me just tell you that coyote last Saturday, it would have sounded like Fallujah because I'd have dumped that whole chamber on him.
Yeah, well,
All the way down that field, just
Yeah.
just but
It just kept on going.
but I had to reload because I had the bolts. And then the video, it's so funny. It's like boom, clack, 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 clack. You hear it, the gun's shaking all around. See, when you got an AR, you ain't got to worry about that stuff. We just
Yeah.
beep, 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 and then the cops come.
Yeah, well, yes. No, we've never had them show up after shooting.
No,
It's
and
always
I've shot some.
we've had some crazy times.
But anyways, calls.
The reason we're here for
Calls.
this episode is
Yes.
calls.
Tell us about your first call.
My first call. Well, I talked about it before. I found out what it actually was now. I couldn't remember what it was. It's a Cass Creek Predator. It had a whopping 5 sounds on it. That's the one I put out in the field that time. My first time, like 30, 40 yards, didn't work. Had to go out, pick it up, bring it back closer. Still didn't work. Had to go out again. I'm sure that was, great for hunting coyotes out there all the time trying to fix the call. But, I had a few distress sounds and a couple coyote sounds on it.
And we called that fox. Well, 2 foxes.
No, that was the second call I had.
That was the second one.
That was the second one. That was the Ecotech. It was a GC300. It was like an $80 Amazon special. Good call. 12 sounds on it. Some distress, some coyote sounds.
Because when you had that, I still have my Johnny Stewart.
No, you had the Alpha Dog then.
I did?
Yeah, you and I have never used the Johnny Stewart together. Hunting.
No, that was me by myself.
Yeah. You had the Alpha Dog then. But yes, we were just reminiscing before recording about using this thing, and the one crazy time using it, I set it up on top of a fence post. It's like, we'll get a little height off of it, get sound carry a little better.
Little tiny speaker.
Yeah,
so.
it's only maybe 5-6 inches across, a little speaker.
It's a nice call. I mean,
Yeah,
it worked.
It worked because there's hitting gray fox distress, and we're scanning around, and there's a gray fox sitting at the bottom of that fence post, staring up at the call while it was going off.
Yeah.
And you got a shot on him, and
Those red light days.
those red light days, and I don't know if you hit it,
No.
or scared it, and it took off. We probably spent a good half
I
hour,
was
45
such
minutes.
a bad shot with that with that scope and that red light. I don't know what. It's just not like it is now. As far as with the night vision. I mean, I missed one last weekend, but I haven't missed.
I missed one the week before.
Right, but I haven't really missed a ton though this year. Only 1 or 2. Usually, anything you put that thing on, as long as I know my distance. Again, so we're back to the crutch. I just didn't range it after I shot the second time at that dog. Though I ranged where it was standing. It was 133 yards. I shot right over top of it.
Yeah,
It was stupid. I should have stoned that thing right there.
it happens.
But so keep going.
Yep, and that leads me into my current call, which is another Ecotech as the Outlaw Plus.
That's a good call.
I like it. You can play 2 sounds at once. Comes with the decoy,
Yep.
which is attached to the side of it.
Need a decoy.
Yes,
I think you do.
yeah. You gotta get their focus. Yes, they're looking for the sound,
If it's bright out.
but
I think the moonlight
the movement keeps them focused on the call
and not you
and not
dancing
you.
around.
Oh my goodness! Because as many times as we'll talk about, all right, when you see something, don't move too fast.
Yeah.
Just get
Nice
over
and easy.
Nice and easy.
You have plenty of time.
It never works out like that. Like you're looking through the thermal scanner and you're watching, and like, oh, there's one. You drop the scanner and you're whipping that rifle around real quick as fast as you can to get on him in the scope.
Well, that's because we're racing each other's safeties.
Well, safety should be off after the call is set.
You know what? That's why it's like that.
I know.
Because of Rusty.
Well, opening day this year, 12 o'clock, boom.
Yeah, because when I started hunting with him, he didn't he would just. He was fast. He could have a safety off and fire, and you were like, duh, what?
Yeah.
And like, so then I started just once the gun was in the tripod, call was out, everybody's in their spot. I just real slowly turned my safety off so you can't even hear it click, you know?
Yeah.
And I remember the one night Rusty heard, what are you doing over there? I said, nothing. He goes, you just turn your safety off? I'm like, yep. And he goes, oh, okay. And you hear him click.
Well, that was opening day this year. We went to, we call it Shitterfield. Won't get into why.
Josh used it as a bathroom one night.
Yeah, okay. Thanks for sharing.
That was funny as hell.
Went in with gloves, came out without.
No gloves.
It's sorry. It happens, all right? Great. My friends are going to hear this and be like, really? Really?
Mm-hmm. It happened twice. Happened this year, too.
Yes.
But that was good for that field.
I mean,
You christened it.
we've had a lot of good luck since then in that
Since
field.
then.
So yeah, we're in that field opening night. There's 4 of us.
Yeah.
And Rusty's on the far right.
Where
I went out,
was I? In the middle?
Yeah, you and Chip were in the middle. I was on the far left.
You were on the left. Yeah.
Sorry about the boom. I'm running the call, and I hear, my 12 o'clock. And I swing over to my right with the scanner to look in Rusty's direction where his lane of firing was. And it's coming straight at him. He goes, 12 o'clock. Boom!
Yeah.
Nobody else had a chance to even get on the thing.
Chip was like, cousin Chip was like, where? What happened?
Dropped it right in its tracks. I mean, it was opening night.
Yeah.
First coyote of the year. It was good.
I think that was a distress sound, too. No, you know what? I think you were doing howls and pup distress.
Yeah, I think it was pup distress. Yeah.
So that early on.
That's an early season thing, or at least in our area.
Yeah, pup distress, man.
Pup distress is a big thing.
That was on fire for like 2 months.
Yeah.
Well, month and a half.
Yep.
October, mid-November is when.
Yep. Yeah, early season calls, a little bit of like prey distress.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot. We've talked about it before. This season, prey distress has been is dead. You can't even use it. It doesn't.
Shot a couple dogs on it.
It doesn't do anything.
No.
It's all been vocals, coyote sounds.
Which has educated me quite a bit this year.
Yeah, we've learned a lot this year. Just this year alone, like how to call, how to answer back. Like Rusty said in the last episode, he took a whole year just to learn.
Yeah.
Just to listen to him.
Yeah, I liked, like in the summertime, like out here in the hayfields, I'll just go out there and sit and listen to them talk, especially the pups. And, you can hear them and the bigger dogs talking to the pups and stuff. And, yeah, you got to, and it's not easy to learn their language.
No.
It's just not. You, like now I can hear the difference between a male and a female.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Well, that makes me think about the one time we were over in Mudfield there.
Oh, yeah.
And
The Mudfield.
I was calling that night, and we had a couple in front of us start talking.
Yeah.
And then we had a group behind us start talking. And, at least I felt like that I was answering them back appropriately.
Right.
Because we kept them talking.
Yeah. So,
even though they never showed themselves.
Yeah, like a lot of the pro guys say, whatever they respond to, you stick with. So
Yeah.
if they respond to a prey distress, stick with that. If they respond to a vocal, stick with that.
Yeah. I heard it on another podcast. I can't remember which one. I listen to so many nowadays. They don't think logically. They're instinctive.
Yeah.
Sure. So whatever triggers their instinct to respond, you keep going with.
Yeah.
Which, it makes
sense.
sense.
So either their gut or their territory or...
Yeah. Hunger. Yeah. Right. But
you can't overthink it. If they don't respond, they're not there. If they don't come, it's probably a wind issue. It's probably... Maybe they can see you and you can't see them.
Yes.
And they just don't like it. And it's bright. You know,
Yeah.
I've had dogs come out, show themselves, peek out of a tree line. Wind is perfect. Everything is perfect. And they turn around and leave.
Yeah.
They're like, nope.
Well, how many times have we been just north of here, up on the road there? Well, not hunting on the road, but that road.
Yeah.
And that field is huge for around here.
Yeah.
Huge. And the one night, there was 4 coyotes out there when we pulled in.
Yeah.
We're all excited, ready to go. 4 coyotes, get the call out, playing everything we could possibly
They
think
got up
of.
and left.
They got up, left, they came back out into the field,
Yep.
and they stayed 600 yards away and
Right.
just went down to the far end from where we were.
Right.
And
Met up with the other one. There was 2 more
anything-
sitting down there.
Yeah, anything we played,
They didn't want nothing to do with it.
nothing to do
And
with
they
it.
know they heard it.
Oh, they couldn't. There was no way they couldn't hear
Which
it.
is why this summer we're going to shoot further. We're going to have plates and steel. We're going to extend our shooting range. We need to be effective at 500 yards. We really do.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're shooting 3, confident.
Yeah.
I actually do better long stuff than do it when they're close to me. Fuck it, I'm going to miss.
Yeah.
But if they're 300 and out, then I'll nail them every time. So, practicing your ranges super, super important. Which is hard, with bullets the way they are now, especially in New York. Background checks.
Well, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So
purchasing ammo is
Right.
a process now. You can't just go to the gun store or Walmart or wherever and just, I want 3 boxes of that. It's okay. Now I need your social.
background check. What do you do
Address.
for a living?
Yeah. Right.
Like, you know what I tell them?
No.
Agricultural engineer. So it sounds important. You should
good.
see him writing it like agriculture,
Yeah.
and they just kind of look at me. Like,
Yeah.
No, but that's what I tell them.
And like, you want to be consistent because you don't want them to have a question as to what you want to do. But like, all right, well, I bought ammo 8 months ago. What did I tell them I do? Like,
Yeah.
I know. I mean, for you, it's easy because it's something
Right. I do lots of things, but I always tell them
Yeah.
farmer.
like, I can't remember what I told them I do. Like, because there's a few different ways I could word it. I'm like, am I a locomotive mechanic? A diesel locomotive mechanic?
I fixed the choo-choos.
Yeah, I fix a choo-choo.
They go woo woo.
But yeah, so yeah, we got to get
Still got that cough going on. Jesus.
a setup going this year where we can reach out 500-600 yards.
Yeah, you got it all planned out already, though.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, I have an idea of what we should do. But
We just got to move everything. Our shooting bench is custom made. Wire spool. Shoot, that's the best thing we ever built.
yeah,
Oh my
no, that
God,
thing works
so comfortable.
works great. Shoot off the we got to shoot off the tripods too. I mean,
Yeah.
that's how we
Practice with way you hunt.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, if you're, zeroing your rifle, getting everything set off a bench, absolutely. But don't, I want to say you can't expect to shoot the same way off a bench that you would a tripod
Nope.
because it's totally different.
Especially when you got 3 or 4 coyotes running in.
Well, yeah, I mean, things get exciting, yes, but, like a range day, I guess you'd call it, you're just
church.
shoot your setup. Don't, I shot off the bench and everything was perfect
Yeah.
and I got on the tripod and
Or a vise or a sled. Like,
Right.
Everybody's like, oh, I used a vise. Yeah, that's great, man. But your head position can be different. It's like shooting with a bow. The best way to do it, any of that stuff, when you're, bows or rifles, is consistency. Where you put your head, where your cheek is, knowing your
Right.
spot.
there's a difference between the way you set up your tripod and the way I set up mine.
Absolutely.
Like our height is only inch
Yeah.
or two difference, but your gun is way higher than mine.
Yeah. I don't lean down at all.
I do. I like to lean down a little bit on the gun when I'm getting on it.
I literally turn around. Like if I'm scanning, I go from the scanner, I walk straight into my rifle.
Yeah.
Because I found like leaning down screws me up.
Well, I mean, it works. It seems to work
Right.
for me.
It's how you practice.
Yeah.
So that's the way you got to do it.
Yep. That way also, pardon me, when I'm scanning, I can look over my rifle.
Yeah.
So as I scan
Yeah, I
left to
can't.
right, my rifle is not in my field
Yeah,
of view.
I can't. I have to look around it.
Right.
But that's the way I'm comfortable.
But it's all personal
Yeah.
preference. It's what works for you, how you're comfortable.
You know, we were talking about calls tonight and we got into shooting.
Yeah, it's
So,
all right.
anyway, so back to the call thing. We're kind of jumping around, but my first call my wife bought for me was a Johnny Stewart. I don't even know what it is. Got like 10 sounds on it. And
Now, is it the old school cassette or is it?
no,
it's an e-caller.
It's an e-caller.
Okay.
And I was so freaking excited when I got that
Oh,
thing.
of course. New
And I think it
equipment.
was for my birthday she got it for me. I was so excited. I never called a single coyote with that thing. I did call a fox behind the farm in the afternoon. I went down when I got done working, and I set up down in this drainage ditch and put the call up in the tree. And this fox jumped right over top of my head. Like I heard him coming. Like,
Yeah.
and then I just look up, and he cleared right over top of me. He went down, ran right to the tree where it was, and he was looking up at it, and I go to shoot him, and my scope power was turned all the way up. So when I looked down, I couldn't find him. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? So I'm like looking, and then I see his fur, just
Yeah.
his chest and his nose, and his nose was the whole scope, and I'm like, oh, okay, and I just pulled the trigger. I missed him.
Yeah.
But I used that for a while, and then came the Alpha Dog, and that was expensive. That was a huge purchase,
Yeah. Well, we call a lot of coyotes with that. With
a
that call.
lot. And then Steve used it for
Yes.
2 years. Just gave it back to me because he bought a Fox Pro,
Okay. Oh,
and
the X24?
the X24. He shot a lot of coyotes off that call.
Yeah, he did.
And that call, it had a decoy, but it was external, and you had to plug it into it.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, were you there the night the owl took it?
No, I wasn't there that night.
Yeah, that was over at Vern's. I was calling, and I had the decoy on, and that's when I learned that you don't turn the decoy on until you see a coyote looking for it. This owl come down, and I can't remember the name of the decoy. I got it still, but it spiked into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
He grabbed that thing, takes it up in the air like 40 feet,
Yep.
rips the wire out of the back of it, flips the call over,
Yeah.
then he drops it.
Yep. And I came over the next week and we soldered it back together.
Yeah, we
because
fixed
wouldn't
it.
Work. Yeah.
We fixed it. The port in the back of the Alpha Dog is toast, but you can still put it in the ground, turn it on.
Yeah.
And yeah, use the Alpha Dog of a lot.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of years. My cat was off the Alpha Dog.
Yeah. The first bobcat.
You know, I think I think your first coyote was off
My first coyote.
off the Alpha Dog. Everybody says it's a cheap caller, but I love that thing.
I worked great for us.
We just were talking about it. We're not going hunting tonight because it's like a tornado out there, and
Yeah, I ain't fighting the wind.
no. And
Ain't worth it.
like I don't mind if it's a little windy. If we're talking 5 miles an hour, not sustained, yeah, I'll go. But
Well, I mean, we'll go up to 10, 12, but I mean, tonight we're talking 20 plus sustained, and it's just no good for calling, at least in our area.
yeah, it never works for us anyway.
No,
People, I guess, do it, but not us.
no,
But
they get hunkered down in the woods, and
well, you let your dog out when it's windy. You watch their ears.
yeah,
They always got their ears folded back because that wind's blowing through their head. It's like yelling into a solo cup, for them, and it drives them nuts. But so I used that for a while, and then we're looking at calls. And one of Rusty's buddies actually had a lucky duck and let us take it out one night.
oh yeah,
Yeah, me and Rusty, and we called a double the first set.
of course.
And I was like, man, this thing's amazing. Like, I got to have one.
Yeah.
So I made the jump to that. And I had, hand call. I got a ton of hand calls.
Oh, yeah, well, I do too. You gave
still.
me that lanyard, and that whole thing's full of hand calls.
Right. I got,
plus
and
a
I
couple
carry,
diaphragms.
we carry that. It's that Rush call, the Rush Rabbit from DWO, Downwind Outdoors.
Yep.
We both have one of those in our pockets. That's so if you get out and something's there, you can. But we both have a mouse squeaker.
Yep. I carry a couple diaphragms with us.
Yeah, howlers.
Yep.
Yep. And just in case we get somewhere and we're not set up, we can make some kind of noise if something's out there.
Yeah. Get their attention.
Right. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't.
Yeah.
So we're currently still running that and the Lucky Duck and
my Ecotech.
your Ecotech, which is a great call.
Yep. Had good luck with it.
Yep. So the end of last season, Josh was like, I'm on a new call. You remember? And then I was like, so we started researching calls.
It was all summer researching what we should get.
Because everybody's got a Fox Pro. Everybody's got a Lucky Duck.
Yeah. Everyone's got a Primos.
Yep.
So it was, at least in our group.
Right.
Our group,
Yeah, we try to get something different. So if
different sounds, different
right.
frequencies.
Yeah, the quality of the speaker makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Like if you just listen to the Alpha Dog and then turn the Lucky Duck on, night and day difference.
Yeah.
Not saying nothing bad about the call.
No.
It's just the quality of their speaker isn't that good. I mean, that's just the bottom line.
Yeah. So we've incorporated the Ecotech into our calling sequences this year. It's real nice being able to play two sounds at once.
Yeah, I love that. They need
so
to do that with all of them.
You get the new Super Revolt. I think you can.
Yeah, things like $800.
Well, but you get two sounds at once. Come on, two sounds at once.
Listen,
Carl.
I've thought about it. Okay, I just can't.
Pay once, cry once, right?
Yeah, it's just
Is that how it goes?
Buy ones, cry ones.
Buy once, cry once.
And I really would rather get my other AR set up so I could go back to mag dumps.
But like with the Ecotech, the Outlaw Plus, like I'll run a distress sound for a little bit, pray distress, and then they have a food squabble.
Yeah, that seemed to work really well.
So like you get that prey distress, and then you get the sound of a couple coyotes fighting over it. Try and grab attention. That's what it's all about: is getting their attention, holding their attention long enough to get them close enough to shoot them.
And a lot of times, if they don't respond, don't overthink it, man. They're just not there.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh, I'm going to go to this field. Everybody sees them here, or they come from this direction. The
farmer has them on their camera all the time.
That don't mean nothing, man. They're not caged animals. They could be
free.
We've been, they've come up behind us, and where you think and you never can prepare yourself for which direction they're going to show up in because it's never the same.
No, and I understand a lot of new people, not that I don't watch videos on YouTube and stuff like that, like tutorials, trying to figure out new ways to get setups and do things. And they're always like, oh, you got to watch the downwind side. They're going to come from the downwind side. That's not always true. Like,
no, we've had them come upwind or from the
upwind
side.
From, you're looking crosswind. You have your call out upwind. You're watching the downwind side and, they come from a crosswind, from behind you. It's, wherever they are when you get set up, you have to.
If they hear it, they'll come.
Yeah.
I mean, that's.
If they're interested.
Right. But, now lately they've been holding up.
Yeah.
Like we'll play something, we'll get them in the woods and they don't want to come out. But like right now, everybody's like, oh, mating season starts, February to March. We've seen them doing the dirty in December.
Yeah.
We have
video
of that. They're pairing in December. Yeah. So I don't necessarily believe that. I think here it's different. Because you're not, I don't know how, if you really think about something, as far as breeding anything, it doesn't always go the way it's supposed to.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
I
you
mean,
have more. Well, with the cows, you got more experience with
right.
that than
I
do,
mean,
but-
they might be. They, you know, everybody's like, oh, you know, like again. So with the cows, you know, you turn a bull out. I put a bull in there last week. I should have calves all in the same time. No, because the heat cycles can be different between each animal. So it could be a cow or a dog, even a dog, and them coyotes don't just come into a heat cycle on the same day. Like
Right.
that is nothing does. No mammal on this earth does.
Yeah.
So you can't even go by that. But like now, so like they're coming to us in the woods, but they're not breaking. And even with the fight, sometimes that it works, sometimes it don't. You try to feed into the territorial side of things. Sometimes they don't care, man.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of the sounds I've been playing. Like when I run my call, that's a lot of the sounds I've been playing lately. Is
What-
vocals trying to be more aggressive.
Right.
Last week we went out after recording,
Yeah.
and
Windy as hell it was.
it was pretty windy. It wasn't as windy as it is tonight, but we're driving up to one of our spots, and we scan as we drive. And the field right before we get to our spot, there's 2 coyotes in it. Like, all right, well, it looks like they're heading in our direction.
Right.
So we're going to go up, put my call out, Lonely Luna,
Yeah.
get some howls going, get some breathing sounds going.
Yeah, they didn't care.
They wanted nothing to do with it. We saw a house cat coming up the road at us, up the farm road. It was like, okay, well.
It's got a tail, don't you?
Yeah, yeah, it's got a tail. So, even
Yeah, I can't. And
You
the wind was kind of right for that situation, but I thought for sure because we were watching them from the truck, and I'm like, man, we got to get out of here. We're gonna spook these things, and they're gonna run to the next county.
Mm-hmm.
So we moved down. We'd get ahead of them and tried to call. We tried, and they never came. They were there.
they were, and
We saw 'em.
watching
I mean,
the woods
but-
behind us,
Right.
And
They just didn't come.
nope.
So it's been kind of slow. So then last week I missed one like an idiot when I finally get something out in front of me. But I've been, like today I was watching, checking the Facebook pages and, what is it, Bark of the Moon.
Yep.
So that's
Bark of the Moon,
yeah, that's a New York one. The New York Predator Facebook page. These guys are nailing them, and they're like, "Oh, I played, Jackrabbit for 2 minutes, and this thing came in on a leash." And I'm like, "Man, I turn a rabbit on, they ain't nothing
No.
showing up."
No, we haven't had luck with prey distress at
And
all.
I know
this season.
there's coyotes there,
Mhm.
or even get them. Usually, like when you play a prey distress and they hear it, they will howl.
Yeah.
So even if they're not in the field you're in, or they're down the road, or across the street, or whatever, they will howl.
Yeah.
And at
You'll get
least
some sort of response
right,
from them.
you get something out of them. They're not doing that right now here, man.
No.
They're not.
I
They
think-
don't care.
Watching YouTube videos and reading all these posts on Facebook and stuff, I think it's area specific.
Oh, 100%
And we have said it before, our area is really pressured.
pressured. Really
There's
pressured.
a lot of predator hunters in our area.
Yeah, in the last year, it's exploded.
It's a bit annoying, really.
Right. Well, it's
I want them all for myself.
right. That's the greed in you. You can't help it. Like, I'm glad. I mean, we wouldn't be doing these podcasts. Like, I'm glad people are doing it.
Yeah,
No,
it's great that there's people out there doing it. Just
but like around us,
yeah,
God,
there's
man, there's just, I heard an e-caller Saturday night.
yep,
4 guys in the field.
yeah,
When we started, there was nobody out there.
no,
There wasn't a soul. You would see a couple of people here and there, just driving, but
Yep.
nobody in the field. Now you roll down through, like, we got a really good area here that we hunt. There's quite a bit of fields we can hunt here. And, like, I roll past one that we can't, which borders ours, and there's 2 pickups in it at midnight,
Yep.
They're not hanging out,
No.
They're definitely hunting. And
Yep.
then I seen them with my thermal. I let them do their thing. I just listened.
yeah.
I was like, man,
No, we're not here to cause
No.
problems with anyone.
Nope.
Make any waves.
Nope.
You
We
know.
try to work with everybody, even the little, if you hunt around us and there's some guys that we know, we all talk to each other.
Right.
You got to communicate.
We're a small community.
Right.
There aren't a ton of people around here, so we all know each other.
Right.
We all talk.
Right. But like, it's just and you don't have to tell them, what you're doing or,
No.
Whatever. But like, we just more or less, I want to make them aware that, hey, I know you hunt this farm. I hunt the one down the road. I was just there.
Yeah.
Last night.
Yeah.
Did I shoot anything? No. Did I see anything? No. Okay. Did I see something and not shoot it? Yes, that might happen. We share information. I'm not greedy at all, because we keep getting back to this same old story that we've had land taken away from us, and I tried to be reasonable with these guys, and Rusty did too. We exchanged phone numbers, and we're like, "Hey, this is cool. We'll make it work." There's plenty of land.
Well, that happened to us one night. This farm that we were hunting. This farm has, the owners of this farm have tons of property.
Yeah.
In our area and other areas, away from us. And there was a new guy that started hunting it. And you were like, hey, here's my number. If you're out,
Yeah.
let me know. So we go out to one of our spots on that property and we get all set up, and come to find out they were a few hundred yards behind us watching us with thermals.
Yeah.
They were parked in a different spot than we were.
Yeah, but they could, they never felt the need to share.
Right.
And I hate that. That's just being
they'd
dirty.
be like, hey, this is where we are tonight.
Right. We'll go somewhere else, man.
Right. We got plenty of other spots to go.
And I don't know what these guys thought. Like, I'm not trying to, get in your lap.
No.
Okay? We will go someplace else.
Yep.
But, so that's all I got for calls. I'm still running the same one. So,
Yeah.
but I want the new Lucky Duck.
The
But
Super Revolt.
Yeah. It's super expensive. But I
Well,
feel
you got the rechargeable already, right?
the battery, yes.
Yeah, so that'll swap from
my
your
God.
Revolt to the
So
Super
if you
Revolt.
have a Lucky Duck and you don't have the rechargeable battery, you are missing out.
Yeah, well, I bought the rechargeable for the Ecotech too.
Because I literally, my setup in the lair down in the basement, I just come home, plug that thing in, it's ready. I'm saving so much money on batteries.
No, yeah. Well, that's one nice thing about the Revolt over the Ecotech is you just plug into the back of the call, it'll charge the battery. With the Ecotech, you have to take the battery out
Oh,
to
really?
plug it into the charger. Yeah.
Nah, not this right in the back. It's
Yeah.
great. Now, if they just made the remote rechargeable,
That would be a thing.
made a pack for that, that would make.
Or just rechargeable batteries, but
Yeah,
has
but I don't want to
has
take
a, has a port to plug
to
into
charge
to
it.
charge it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to be. I'm so glad I don't have to mess with that battery pack anymore. I was buying $200 worth of batteries a month.
lot of batteries.
And I tried rechargeables, and they just don't last.
They don't like the cold,
Nope.
which
And
we
it's
hunt in a lot.
all the time. But yeah, that's so.
I got to say, though, with the Ecotech rechargeable battery,
Yeah.
I've only charged that like 2 or 3 times this season.
So you don't just instinctively plug it in?
No. Well, I mean, what do we call for it? Hour and a half?
Yeah, but I'm always afraid it's going to die when we're out there.
Well, I have the original battery pack loaded so that if the rechargeable does die,
You're going to walk out there and change it.
I'll walk
What
out
if
and-
there's a quad coming in?
Well, then I'll lay down on the ground and you can shoot it over my head.
We don't do that stuff. That's dangerous. But
Yeah, no, I mean, that's what we have for calls.
yeah,
We like what we got now. I'm sure there'll be something bigger and better next year, and we'll look at it, but
the X24, I ran one. It's all right.
yeah.
It's the remote is confusing to me.
Well, you're used to yours.
Right.
You got
So, like Steve gave it to me one night, and he's like, "Here, you run the call," and I'm like, "Oh shit, here we go." I don't know.
looking at the buttons.
Right. Thank God the buttons are lighted.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a whole nother. Hey, Lucky Duck. By the way, make your buttons lighted.
Backlit, yeah.
There's a guy I seen on the Facebook page. He put glow in the dark paint on his,
Oh, really?
so you could see him at least.
Yeah.
But like the X24s, buttons are lit.
Yeah, mine are the Ecotech is backlit. Yeah,
Right. So mine's the only one that ain't like that. Even the Alpha Dog isn't lit up. I don't think. I
Yeah,
can't remember. Honestly,
you got the muscle memory though. You know where your buttons are.
Right. So I seen that there was a guy on one of the Facebook Predator pages. It was like, oh, what do you guys do? That's how I saw the glow in the dark button thing. He's like, what are you guys doing for this? And I'm like, listen, man, this is all great ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I used a cheap Walmart headlight, turn it on red just so I could look down and glance at it. But now I can run that thing with a blindfold.
Yeah.
But I still think I don't know, is the Super Revolt ever lighted?
I don't know. I haven't looked into it.
Man, if it does, we should look into that. The Super Revolt has got one. They got to be lighted. And it's got to be red too. Like, I feel like the X24's remote is super bright. And maybe you can adjust the brightness on it. It wasn't my call, so I didn't get tearing into it. But it was like a beacon in my hand. Mm-hmm. And you need light, but here's the thing: we hunt in the dark. It's dark, guys. We don't need a lot of light. We just need a little bit of a reference. That's all. Is it lighted?
I'm trying to find it.
But, well, anyway.
This doesn't say.
I got to make some more money before I buy another call.
Yeah.
But I'd love to have another one. Primos is coming out with a new one, too.
Are they?
Oh, yeah. And I think it's coming out in June. It's almost like the new, I don't know if you've seen the new Fox Pro. They got a Fox Pro. It's got speakers all the way around it.
Oh, really?
It's not, so it's newer than the X24. It has 360 degree sound all the time. I want to say the new Primos is something like that. It's got speakers wrapped around it. I'd buy another Primos.
Yeah.
A heartbeat. It was it still is a great call.
Look, this day and age, like all the e-calls, they're just about on the same level.
Yeah.
It's all what what your budget will allow you to get. Yeah, there's higher end and lower end.
Sure. The X24 is not cheap.
No.
There's an Ecotech with Tony Tebby sounds on it. That was the original one I wanted to get.
Yeah, that's like $800.
That's what I wanted you to get.
Yeah, it just wasn't in the budget.
Right. I'm just silly. I just go and work, and then a new call shows up, and the wife's like, "How much was that?" And I'm like, $100.
I don't want to tell you, but
you don't want to know. You don't want. Do you need something? I'll buy you something.
Yeah.
Send me something on Amazon.
Yeah, that's what we got on calls. What we've used, what we have used, what we do use, how we use them. It's trial and error.
Yeah,
for your area. You just
absolutely
gotta figure out what works.
But
yeah,
so next week we're going to talk about. We don't even know what we're going to talk about next week.
No, we're going to have to sit down and talk about that. Figure out what we're going to do.
Maybe we'll bring somebody in if we can get somebody.
Yeah,
one of the guys.
We'll get at least one more guest.
Right.
We got set up for 2 more.
Yes.
We got 4 mics now.
We're trying to get our gun guy here. We called him tonight, but he had his children.
Yep.
And he couldn't make it.
We'll get a plan together, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
we'll definitely we'll get something rolling.
Thanks for listening to the One Predator podcast, and we'll catch you on the next one.